Hi everyone, my name is Stacey Albertson and I'm here to talk about the film Catch Me If You Can, starring Leonardo DiCaprio and Tom Hanks. I decided to use our chapter on deception for this movie as I found that they kind of go hand in hand. The three terms I'll be talking about are high-stake lies. High-stake lies are those for which penalties for getting caught are severe, going to jail, etc. I'm also going to talk about acts of simulation, which are forms of deception that involve fabricating information or exaggerating facts for the purpose of misleading others. And then the third one is equivocation. Equivocation means expressing information that is so vague or ambiguous that it creates the impression it has communicated a message it hasn't actually conveyed. So those are the three terms I'm going to use. The movie, again, is Catch Me If You Can. Catch Me If You Can is about a con man, Frank William Abagnale Jr., and it's his story about beginning until he gets caught, and he's being chased by an FBI agent, Carl Hanratty, played by Tom Hanks. And so the movie is all about the different ways that Frank deceives people and the public to get what he wants. So my first term is high-stake lies. Frank, I personally have never participated or known anyone that has participated in a high-stake lie where you would go to jail or something if you're caught. Of course, we see it in the news. People lie about this or that, or they break the law and they go to jail. I don't know anyone personally, and I have never done anything that's considered a high-stake lie. Frank, however, in the movie, he pretends to be a Pan-American Airlines pilot. He pretends to be an ER physician, a doctor. He goes and he's never graduated from college, but he takes the bar exam and passes it, so he becomes a lawyer. The biggest high-stake lie that he participates, though, is his forging of checks. He writes over $4 million in fraudulent checks, which is why Tom Hanks, Carl Hanratty, is chasing him and trying to put him in jail. So the movie has a lot of high-stake lies in it because that's what Frank did. The next one is our acts of simulation, which again are forms of deception that involve fabricating information or exaggerating facts for the purpose of misleading others. This is also something I've never actually done in my own life, although I do know people that have done this. I personally know someone who lied on their resume saying that they have a business degree and would lie to people who would ask him. He would lie and say that he had a business degree, and that's why he got the management position he was in, but none of that was true. He eventually got caught, but I've never done anything like that, but that is some way that it does relate to my life. As far as the movie goes, Frank, when he's a teenager, about 16, he goes to a class and he pretends to be the French teacher. The French teacher isn't there, so he pretends to be the French substitute teacher. There's another part in the movie where he calls and he pretends that he lost his uniform for being a pilot so that he can get a uniform so he could pretend to be a pilot. He fakes his resume when he's becoming a doctor. Not only does he fake his resume, he fakes a graduation degree from Harvard. So Frank does a lot of fabricating and exaggerating for acts of simulation because that's how he made money. He's a con man. My last term is equivocation, which is it's basically ambiguity. You be so vague that people don't know if you're telling the truth or not. And it can be you can be so vague that people just take it how they want to, and so they don't know that you're lying. This one I probably do use a lot in my life because it's sort of how to lie without lying. So I believe that this is also what politicians do, is you make a statement and kind of let the other person fill in the blanks. That way you're not lying, but you're being so ambiguous, you could go either way. In the movie, one of my favorite parts is when Frank is pretending to be a doctor and he's in the ER, and he doesn't know what he's doing. He's not a doctor, so he looks to the other interns and is like, "Do you concur? I concur. Do you concur?" And the other doctors concur with him, but that's him being so ambiguous that they take their own ideas and agree with him. He never said anything, and they agree so that it looked like he knew what he was talking about. There's another part in the movie where he's confessing to the woman that he loved, to the father, and he tells the father, "I'm nothing. I'm just a kid in love with your daughter." So he's telling the truth, but it's ambiguous in the fact that the guy already believes that he's a lawyer. So that's another way that he uses equivocation and is ambiguous and still gets what he wants and is still deceiving the people around him. Watching this movie in the terms of thinking about this movie in the terms of an interpersonal communications class, it really opened my eyes to the different ways that we communicate. As I was watching it and I was focusing on the deception part of the movie, I saw other terms and stuff throughout that relate to the class as well. So there are definitely other terms in the book that I could have picked to use for this movie. I just felt like the deception one fit perfectly, so that's why I chose it. Thank you all for listening. Bye-bye.